Hey everyone. So, after FNaF 4, the series had a pretty drastic change in both tone and story. Everything was a lot more sci-fi instead of just straight up supernatural horror, and the main focus was now on the Afton family storyline. And if you watched my other FNaF videos, then you'd already know that this is a change that I really didn't like. The Afton stuff is fine and all, but all of the stupid futuristic sci-fi technology stuff we have now, like illusion discs and actual lifelike robot kids, all started with this entry. But I will give credit where it counts. With this game basically starting a new arc for the series, it kept things just vague enough for the community to come up with a bunch of theories. Originally, since this game is mostly just story, I thought it was going to be a FNaF 3 situation where there wouldn't really be anything to theorize about, but there are a surprising amount of blind spots of plot that this game doesn't really cover, and I'm going to go through some of the most notable and or wackiest ones I can find from the time of this game's release. So, without further ado, sit back and relax as we start with... This theory claims that Michael Afton isn't biologically related to William Afton, with the main evidence point being the little TV shorts we see in between nights. The reoccurring line in those cartoon shorts is,
"The baby isn't mine!"
Therefore, Michael isn't William's baby. A few things wrong with this. 1. The baby in that cartoon is clearly the vampire's son and he doesn't want to take responsibility. 2. William has 3 kids, so who's to say that it's referring to Michael specifically? And 3. There is a main character who is kind of the face of this game who's named Baby. And with that last one, there is a not insignificant chance that that's what it's referring to. While we still don't really know what these TV messages mean and if they mean anything at all, Michael is still pretty much all but confirmed to be William's son by now. So this one was a pretty controversial one for the time. This one states that Michael Afton was the bite victim and is in fact the crying child. Okay, bear with me.
Let me break it down for you, Mark.
So for this theory to work, we need to go under the assumption that Michael Afton was born both immortal and unkillable. He survived the scooper and Ennard taking control of his body, so who's to say he couldn't have survived taking a bite to the head? Mike's sprite in Sister Location has light skin and light brown hair, exactly like the crying child. The quote-unquote older brother in FNaF 4 has a darker, more tan skin with dark brown hair. And as we already established in previous games, slightly different sprite colors mean completely different characters. So wait, I bet you're wondering, if Mike's the crying child, then who's the older brother? Well, that guy in the gray shirt and foxy mask is obviously William Afton himself. And the reason he's doing these jump scares on his child is because he's performing some sort of experiment on him. Other evidence points include the stomach teeth that Fredbear and Nightmare have could be his trauma from seeing his sister scooped, and that trauma would lead him to look for her in the Sister Location bunker. Airtight theory, right? If you completely ignore Purple Guy clearly being present in one of the FNaF 4 minigames, and the fact that William Afton is like 4 feet tall and acts like an immature child the whole game, then yeah, this could be canon. Okay, so I actually fully believe this theory, and until it is definitively proven impossible, this will be my headcanon. This one just simply says that the pigtail girl in FNaF 4 is Elizabeth. Pretty self-explanatory as to why people would think that. She's got pigtails and green eyes, just like Elizabeth. Not much else to say about this, I just thought that this was one of the most plausible, unconfirmed theories of this game. This one states that this game takes place in a completely separate timeline from the first 4 games. This would explain the sudden shift in tone, aesthetic, and technology. Basically, what it's saying is that this is a reboot. It's obviously not true now, but if you think about it, it absolutely could have been. Think, there's not a single reference to any of the previous 4 games' existence in this one. You could say that Scott's original plan was to— oh wait, there were hidden cams of the FNaF 4 house, and map layouts of FNaF 4 locations. Oh well. So this was a fun theory that was pretty big before the game was released. Some people thought that this game was going to take place in the far, far future where the bombs dropped Fallout style and we would be trapped in an underground bomb shelter that happened to house killer animatronics. The biggest piece of evidence used for this was the Sister Location trailer, where near the end it kinda sounds like air raid sirens going off. And the fact that we see an elevator descending at a fast rate plus the inclusion of very advanced looking robots helps support this wild theory. Honestly, now I want to see a FNaF fan game based on this very idea, or better yet, just make a Fallout mod. Okay, so this theory claims that William Afton is innocent, and Ennard is the true villain of the franchise and committed all of the murders. Basically, what happens is William builds a bunch of robots, one of which scoops and kills his daughter accidentally. He becomes sad and goes down to the basement where those robots are being kept and gets scooped himself and dies when Ennard takes control of his body. So, from here on out, Ennard is the purple guy, and every time we see the purple guy in a previous game, it was actually Ennard inside him. Which would also explain how we survived the spring locking in 3. How could a regular human survive that? It's obviously because Ennard is an animatronic that was able to survive the spring locks. So yeah, this one's obviously canon, and there's no contradicting information that could possibly disrupt this. This is a pretty goofy one that I really like, even if it had zero chance of ever being real. This one states that Elizabeth managed to survive being scooped by Baby by eating ice cream and breathing helium. Extremely silly, I know, and it doesn't make too much sense if you start thinking about it too much, but you want to know something interesting? I don't know if this theory actually existed. This theory is constantly brought up when people talk about the worst and craziest theories in FNaF history, but I can't actually find any evidence of this existing. Mandela effect, maybe? It's really strange because even in my research to find obscure theories for the previous games, people kept bringing this one up as one of the goofiest, and I was really excited to learn more about it, but I can't find any forum thread, Reddit post, or YouTube video talking about this theory. I only see people online mention its existence. Weird. Okay, you knew this was coming the minute I started this series. In terms of outlandish and outright bad theories, there is none more infamous than adult theory. But as I looked into this theory for this video, I found that it's not as crazy as people make it out to be, and you know what? I'll admit it, maybe I'm an adult theory believer now. I'm not going to go too in-depth because, well, you know how YouTube is. So this theory states that the animatronics in Sister Location were not made for kids, but for an adult audience. Now, since the game was released, we obviously know that's not true, as the very first thing we hear when we boot up the game is Baby's features, including dancing, singing, ice cream, and balloon dispensing abilities, all features intended for children. However, the theory didn't completely die after this. There is one animatronic in Sister Location that doesn't really fit in with the rest of the cast. Ballora. I mean, just look at her. Does she look kid-friendly to you? Some say that she was designed to be her own separate attraction from the main cast, similar to how Foxy was separate from Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica in FNaF 1. This attraction would be a separate area from the rest of the restaurant to keep the adults entertained while the kids did their own thing. If you think that's weird or unlikely, this kinda already happened in real life with the rat-based pizza chain Chuck E. Cheese. In the 80s, they tried making an animatronic that would solely entertain the adults named Dolly Dimples. It obviously wasn't very successful and didn't go anywhere, but that sole fact gave a lot of credibility towards this theory. And that will do it for this one. I'm probably going to do a non-FNaF video next, but I promise that this series is not over. I'm also not sure whether to talk about FNaF World or just go straight on to 6, but I guess I'll figure that out later. Oh, and if any of you can find the origins of the Elizabeth survived theory, please tell me where to find that. But in the meantime, if you're still hearing my voice, I just wanted to tell you, thank you for watching. Remember to like it if you liked it, subscribe if you really liked it, and I'll see you next time.